Okay, so this is going to be a practice attempt at my 2 to 4 minute speech about myself, an introductory speech. So, the way I'd like to start it off is going to be kind of like, good morning, VVC students! Top of the morning to you, this is Scott Pulsifer, something like that, right? And then I'm going to go on to say, you probably think that I'm here to talk about myself today. Well, you'd be pretty accurate in that assumption. And of course I would go on saying, well, see, if I already introduced myself. Good morning, BBC students. This is Scott Pulsifer coming at you. See, and this is what I don't like, is because if it's not, like, exactly choreographed, and I'm trying to do it off the top of my head, which is probably going to be a problem. So, yeah. Don't mind me, this is a practice attempt. I'm on cam. It's kind of like, But anyways, so okay, again, let's go back. It's already like hitting a minute. Good morning, VVC students. This is Scott Pulsifer coming at you. I should probably say the full name. Damn it. Good morning, VVC students. This is Scott Forrest Pulsifer coming at you. You probably think today that I'm going to be talking to you about myself. Well, you'd be exactly accurate in that assumption. But I don't know how to, like, continue from there if I'm already introducing myself. I could probably say, like, a few things that define me are... A few things that define me are my middle name. My mother wanted to name me Forrest as my first name, but Forrest Scott didn't sound right, so Scott Forrest became my name. Later on, I ended up getting some new nicknames from different people for different reasons. Back in high school, a young woman by the name of Tiger Hicks called me Redwood, which didn't necessarily come out of nowhere because it did originate from my middle name. I gotta cut out those ums. Later on down the road, after being called Redwood, I incorporated Redwood Forest, and then of course, since we have a native background in my family, I tacked on the name Owl. So I am the Redwood Forest Owl, which also correlates to one of my primary interests, which is Japanese culture, philosophy, and so I am the Redwood Forest Owl, who is the leader of the Redwood Samurai, which is a group of individuals that are some of my really close friends who mean a lot to me, and we all are interested in Japanese philosophy, ways of life, the sword, and so that kind of leads me to my next topic of interest, which is Kendo. I've never really attended or been enrolled in a class of Kendo, but I do train on my own with these two particular training weapons. One, the Shinai, which is used to actually compete and practice hand-to-hand combat, well, I guess weapon-to-weapon combat with fellow peers and the like. About, I want to say, 32 inches in length, made of bamboo, whereas opposed to a solid wooden bokken, which you do not use to strike an opponent ever. Maybe someone who's trying to use a forced entry to your home, but aside from that. And this all originated from my interest in Japanese culture and the samurai, but more specifically, I was given a book from my uncle. Actually, I was given these two books. Hagakure, the Book of the Samurai, and Miyamoto Musashi's Book of Five Rings. Okay, these two books combined, I can almost say, well, this one more specifically is like my Bible. It's where everything kind of started. And when I say everything, I think I mean more along the lines of where my actual resolve started, where my driven passion towards something really began. The reason why these are important to me is because it has helped sculpt me into a better person, someone who actually understands what it means to be compassionate, driven, focused, and it's also helped me define what it means to be a humanitarian. And since it's getting like a little long, I have to ask everyone who's watching this to help me come up with a conclusion of sorts. I also wanted to incorporate my first name, Skattosan, which I call myself Skattosan the Inscriptionist because I journal, I write poetry, yada yada. So I was also thinking about having a prop, which is going to be my journal, and I'd be like, my name, Scott, also known as Skattosan. My middle name is Forest, also known as the Redwood Forest Owl. That's probably how I'm going to say it, is like, you know, good morning, BBC students. This is Scott Forrest Pulsifer coming at you. You probably think, you know, I'm here to talk about myself today. Well, UBB. Pew pew. Anyways, you'd be completely accurate in that assumption. And then I'd be like, so my name, to me, has had many definitions, many different alterations and nicknames. And Scott is Skattosan, or Skattosan, depending on how you enunciate that. Yeah. I really don't know how to... I'm gonna have to... Hold on, let me think. Aha! There they are. Flashcards. So, I'm gonna stop this video as my first attempt at organizing stuff. I have a few new ideas in my head that I'm going to be able to be like, BAM! Yeah, it's right there on my card. Let me just read that right quick and speak to you at the same time. No? Okay. Anyways, watch it. Tell me what you think. Any suggestions? I still don't have a conclusion, really, very much. So, yeah. Ciao,